What if Mega Venusaur was in Gen 1 OU? Now, I've done both Mega Charts X and Y, I've done Mega Beedrill, Mega Aerodactyl, and for most of those Pokemon, they're either Pokemon that had something interesting going on for them in OU, but got held back, or they were just like Mega Beedrill, where it's basically just an entirely new Pokemon altogether. But the point is, the extra base stats added to all of them ended up creating a Pokemon that actually was able to, to stand up for its own in Gen 1 OU. Would be the same for Mega Venusaur. Because unlike the other ones, where you have Mega Charizard X is, insane physical attack, as well as Dragon typing, Y is just monster special, Mega Aerodactyl's rock flying typing, and Mega Beatrio's insane speed and having bug stab. What does Venusaur have? Well, I guess we'll start by looking at how it is compared to the base Venusaur. As you can see, it gets huge, boosts to both its attack and the physical defense, as well as gaining a pretty decent boost in special. It's pretty good, at least for, any Pokemon. But the issue lies with just its abysmal move pool. Don't get me wrong, having a base 80 speed means that Razor Leaf always crits, and that's nice. But Grass just isn't really the best, attacking type in Gen 1 OU. Don't get me wrong, it's good against, Slowbro, Cloyster, Starmie. But I think most of the problem is not so much that the Grass type is just, bad as a whole. It's just that the moves are just really underpowered. So, Razor Leaf here, it has, a high critical hit ratio, but it's base 55 power. So, yeah, it hits pretty hard. But you just imagine that's something else, let's say Energy Ball or Leaf Storm. And then the only other move is Mega Drain, which it has an abysmal base 40, or power points. Or not power points, base attack, basically, yeah. And, it can be goodish. You have growth, you can raise your special. So theoretically, especially with your high bulk, you can raise your special and then, gain that, HP back with Mega Drain. You maybe even get it back with Leech Seed. But it doesn't really sound good. Not to mention, even though it has, this very impressive bulk, it's just not a good defensive typing either. Poison gives you no favors. So instead of resisting ground, you're, neutral to it. Which, granted, it isn't a big deal, because, what's Rhydon gonna do to you? You just kill it, with either Razor Leaf or Mega Drain. But against other Pokemon, it's, you probably won't see it that much, other than, maybe, a Sand Slash, if, someone wants to use that. But it's just, just one example. Also, the take care of the elephant in the room. Being a grass and poison type means you are weak to both ice and psychic. Literally the two most common special types in the game. That definitely is pretty bad. Because, Tauros, Snorlax, Chansey, Cloyster, Starmie, Exeggutor, Alakazam. It seems like everything, almost everything, is just capable of killing you. But you are, you're not useless. Because it does have some pretty interesting niches. I wish that with typing, but at the very least with just base stats alone. Mega Venusaur is by far the bulkiest Pokemon in, Gen 1 that can, put a Pokemon to sleep. That's pretty valuable. Not to mention with 122 special and 100 attack. Well, at least with Razor Leaf, it can hit pretty hard. Mega Drain is underwhelming, and its physical attacks, yeah, this Body Slam and Hyper Beam. Which, without Stab, it's, good, I guess. But it's underwhelming. I honestly thought that this thing had Earthquake. It doesn't. So what exactly, like, it just doesn't have coverage. And like normal is a good type, obviously, but it's mostly for normal types, or for like Pokemon that, you know, like have like just better moves, or Pokemon that don't have any choice. Like Pinsir and Scyther, you know, only use normal moves. But I guarantee you, like, they would really appreciate something like Earthquake if they had it. Same with Aerodactyl. Without Stab, some moves just don't do as well as you hope they would. The granted, Hyper Beam would obviously hit really hard, especially with, like, you know, like Sword Stance. But maybe you want to risk that as your only, like, physical attacking move. Because I feel like Venusaur needs Sword Stance just to be able to threaten stuff. Because Body Slam is pretty underwhelming. You need at least, like, 2 Sword Stance to threaten the entire tier. With like, at least, like, a 2-hit KO. So, I don't know. Like, Venusaur, it's definitely adaptable. There's not just one good set. But at least for the replays I did, what I had was Body Slam, Razor Leaf, Sweet Powder, and Sword Stance. Is there issues with this moveset? Absolutely. But there's also issues with just Venusaur as a whole. So, yeah, it's... like, I tried my best, guys. Like, I guess there's other stuff you can do, like Growth, like Mega Drain, Rest is like not good here, but maybe like an underuse, it would be good. Yeah, like, I don't know. I honestly thought Venusaur had more moves, so I'm just really disappointed. But how good does it actually do against the other Pokemon? Only one way to find out. Now going up against the boy, Tauros. Yeah, even a base 70 special, like Blizzard, can still really threaten you. But, you can put Sleep, that's nice. But more importantly, Razor Leaf is just a clean 2-hit KO. Which, yeah, that's actually pretty valuable. Especially since you won't always get a crit with, like, you know, Blizzard. So, like, threatening Sleep is pretty good in Tauros, and also just doing damage to it just in general. It's nice. So at least we're, like, starting on a good note. And then for Snorlax, its Body Slam does, like, honestly, yeah, you take it pretty well. Like, you would probably go for Sleep anyways. Not to mention Razor Leaf, probably just the better move anyways. But in the Snorlax, Ice Beam can be kind of threatening. But not only can you put it to sleep, but more importantly, you know, with Razor Leaf always being a crit, you just ignore the Amnesia boost. And with that, Razor Leaf is a clean 3-hit KO. That's pretty nice, and that's pretty valuable to have. So at the very least, going up against, like, you know, 2 of the big 3, Venusaur can actually hold its own. It's definitely not a great matchup. Both are capable of, like, threatening Venusaur, especially Tauros. But I've definitely seen worse on this channel. Meanwhile, you're faster than Chansey, so, like, yeah, you can put it to sleep. But then you need, like, you need a lot of turns to set up Sword Stance, which is unfortunate. Because, like, that's how much just a Body Slam does, and with the base 100 attack. Underwhelming, isn't it? You need, like, yeah, you need at least, like, 1 Sword Stance, which that isn't bad. Just having 1. But then, like, for other Pokemon, you need at least 2 in order to, like, to KO it. And, like, even if you do put something to sleep, I just don't see your opponent, like, sending it off. And also, another example I want to give is just how Venusaur did, like, alright there. But also, like, Venusaur obviously does significantly worse against, you know, a paralyzed Chansey. Because if you can't put it to sleep, what do? Like, Chansey has Thunder Wave, which can just very much annoy you. And it also has Ice Beam. Almost every single Chansey has Ice Beam. So what do? Like, Ice Beam itself, like, 3-hit KOs you. And, I believe I misclicked there. Yeah, I meant to go for Body Slam. Which, that could have finished it off. But, it doesn't really matter. Because even if the Venusaur did kill the Chansey, it just gets Revenge Kill. And even then, they would not even let you do that. Like, if you're paralyzed, and they get up a Sword Stance, they're obviously not gonna, you know, they're not gonna, like, just let their Chansey take that. So, Chansey just becomes a wall that there's nothing you can do against. And then with Alakazam, no one's surprised. Psychic is an issue, especially when the Psychic types are pretty infamous for being fast and critting a lot. But let's say you don't get a crit, alright? How much better do you do? You hit it, like, you do like most of Venusaur's health, it puts you to sleep. Body Slam does, so probably like a 3-hit KO. And then like with that Sword Stance, you can just, well, you very easily just, 2-hit KO it. But, it's not a good matchup. It's really not. There's so much that can go wrong. A Cloyster, on the other hand, even though it might be an Ice type with a strong Blizzard, obviously Razor Leaf is just gonna murder it. So like at the very least, even if like Venusaur and Mega Venusaur like struggles a lot, there's definitely gonna be a niche. It is far bulkier and hits harder than the regular Venusaur. So that could, like, at the very least, having such a good matchup against some of the water types can mean that, well, like, you're gonna use that if you're really weak to name a Cloyster. But there's probably better ways of doing that. And also, you're Fascinate Executor. Good for you. You need, like, 2 Sword Stance just to 2-hit KO with Body Slam. And I still feel like Body Slam would probably be better than Hyper Beam. Because also just having the chance to paralyze is also just pretty nice. Especially since, like, I don't think Venusaur has Stun Spore. I think I would have noticed it. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. So, like, I'll point that one quickly either way. Because not only can Sleep Powder miss, but we all know Executor's Psychic would hurt it so much. Meanwhile, Venusaur has, like, quite literally no way of harming Gengar. Even if the Hypnosis miss and you got off Sleep Powder, what does Venusaur do? What does it actually do against Gengar? Like, hits it with a Razor Leaf, builds up like a million like growth so it can like 6-hit KO it with like Mega Drain. Yeah, Gengar's is an unwinnable matchup that Venusaur just has no way of like doing anything against it. Which, you gotta hate to see it. And then Jinx, yeah, it's faster, it completely just sweep. And then it has the 2 stabs that Venusaur fears the most, both Ice and Psychic. Like, yeah, it is not good. And even the best case scenario, like, look there, Jinx missed 2 Blizzards. But it doesn't matter, because like a crit can just kill you. And even if it didn't get a crit, and it's still a Psychic and Blizzard. Which, like, you just die, either way. Like, you might survive it, but who cares? You're not bulky enough to, tank those. Because of your god-awful typing. Meanwhile, at the very least, Razor Leaf just completely shuts down Slowbro. It doesn't matter if you paralyze it. It doesn't matter if Slowbro goes for Amnesia. Razor Leaf ignores the boost, so yeah, you just pretty much have a free win against Slowbro. And obviously you get a free win against Rhydon as well. So those are, like, admittedly some very nice things about Mega Venusaur. It does give you, like, a decent reason to use it. So, like, I'm not sure what you would have on your team that's, like, so weak against, water types. But having the way of just threatening those is valuable. You just kind of wish, Venusaur just had better coverage, Like, I think it would kill for just having Earthquake. So at least has, like, something to hit Starmie with. Meanwhile, against Starmie, a critical hit kills you. But, at the very least, you do a lot of damage with Razor Leaf. So other than the other Psychic types and the other Pokemon with Blizzard, for this one it can go either way. But surprisingly, with Venusaur's bulk, it could give it the edge. But also with Starmie being faster, having Recover, Thunder Wave, and just, having better crits, it might be in Starmie's favor. I'm not too sure. You guys can be the judge of which one has the better matchup there. And last but not least, we have Zapdos. Drill Peck does a lot of damage, with or without the crit. You can put it to sleep. That's nice. But what's your point after that? You're going to use, like, Leech Seed to, like, get your health back? Probably not. So instead you need 2 Sword Stance just to get a, just to get a 2-hit KO. And again, your opponent ain't gonna, like, let that happen. The moment the Venusaur goes, or the moment the Zapdos, gets taken out, it's just gonna immediately switch to something else. So you might get a Sword Stance off, but then you just get outsped and murdered. So I actually think I put Zapdos and Kiko either way, but I think I need to change it back in the bad. Because you're not going to have a situation that good, like in the replay there. So yeah, you need to go in the bad. Yeah, so here's the list. Now, when you look at the list here, it doesn't look that bad. Like, it does look like it would have like a good niche. Because like, the 4 Pokemon on top, you just auto win against. And with the, with having good matchups against Snorlax and Tauros is huge. But with the matchups you struggle with, you really struggle with. Especially with Jinx and Gengar. And maybe, and like Paralyzed Chansey, I would also argue, a Paralyzed Chansey would also go in unwinnable. So, like, after seeing the moveset, I guess this is a little better than I thought. But I don't see this being OU. And I'm not sure how to do it underused. I know regular Venusaur isn't underused. But with the sleep ban, like, is it even doing anything down there? I'm willing to bet that regular Venusaur, like, is already struggling. And maybe Mega Venusaur could, like, do better because it's bulkier and hits harder. But even then, I have my doubts. So I'm gonna guess that either Mega Venusaur ends up in underused, in which regular Venusaur gets power crept and goes back to never used. Or, what I think is more likely, Mega Venusaur probably just ends up being like a borderline Pokemon, along with Hypno and Lapras. And maybe Swellow one day, who knows? Your days in OU might be numbered. Probably not though. So yeah, I was disappointed with this one. I was kind of hoping it would be better, but I can't really say I'm surprised. Tomorrow I'm going to do a Mega Blastoise. Do let me know in the comments if you think it's going to be good or not. I'm personally leaning on it not being that great, but I'll be more than happy for, like, them to prove me wrong. So yeah, that's about it. What do you think? Would Mega Venusaur be OU, borderline, or underused? Do you think there's some stuff I looked over? Do you think there's some better movesets for it? And what other videos would you like to see? I'm always looking at your guys' suggestions. Until next time, I thank you all for watching. This is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.